said some martial arts don't like nuance, but to me it's where the joy and the art of it is. You know, they always, you know, this stance always means this position always, it doesn't. You've always got to look at all of them in context. But there's still a logic to that nuance. You know what I mean? Once you've got it, I follow what's going on. So in that case, why am I bringing my feet together? What's that stance all about? I'm bringing my feet together because I want to be closer to him, to give me greater control over his head. So that's why I'm doing that one. But there's other reasons why you bring your feet together, right? So in this case, there's a little bit of work for you to do now. Right? I'm going to show you the technique and then I want you to explain to your partners, but I'll do it as a group. So, one of my students used to teach Japanese, fluent in it. And he'd say to me, because he's trained in karate as well, obviously, he said, whenever you say the Japanese terms in that Cumbrian accent, it's like nails going down a blackboard to my ears. He said, it's so horrifically butchered. You know, I speak the way I speak, and I quite like it. So this is one that my Cumbrian tongue can't pronounce the name of. It's almost like a tongue twister to me. Shi so chi. Near enough. If I ever say it fast, it's like she sells seashells on there, you know, my tongue gets tripped up by it, right? But there's a movement in it where you'll go something like this. And then again, you have feet coming together, right? So for those who don't know the kata, and it can be good to study kata if you don't know to get the idea, you've got a sideways step and this arm's up in this position. Slight variations from style to style, but that's what you've got, right? So your stance, think of it, we'll start from here, and you go on there. There's a step out in that direction. I'm then bringing my back foot to my front foot as I do an elbow. Is that okay? Is my elbow coming inside my head? And again, I'm using this as an example because you did something very similar with me before. If I've got this arm from there, I can crack on the back of this. Is that okay? If I do this, all muscle, very unlikely to work, right? So you don't need to answer out loud, but answer in your own head. If I'm striking this way with this arm, which way do I want my body weight to go? Yeah, same way. Is that okay? So what does the kata tell you need to do? It goes, and here. Is that okay? You can't really do it speedy with a partner because otherwise you break elbows, right? But it's one. Is that okay? So I move it that way. Now where's his head ended up at? Is that okay? So it's over there. So I want to elbow that. So I'm moving the stance to get me on line with the head, but by bringing the feet together, I'm also going to rise up. So from there, hook this arm. Pull it to your hip, but you keep your head completely still. Right, because it's, you know, the control always gets worse the longer I go. But I'll be there, and this is where I'm going for the second shot. Is that okay? So what's the kata mapping out? It's got the arm position, but crucially the stance is telling you how you need to move the weight. On the first one it's doing it, so I get my weight into that shot, and I'm not just doing it with muscle. I'm stepping out to the side, boom! You know what I mean? So if I did it at speed and power, he's going to move there. Is okay. And then the next thing is, well, where's his head? So there's no point me going elbow here. I need to get in line with it. So my back foot comes to my front foot. But what that also gives me is, I'm going to go in front of your head this time, just so you know. So I'm going to, you know, I've got the idea of driving straight up through the target. Is that all right? So what I'd like you to do with your partner, start with the arms crossed. And like, you know, if you're fighting away, you make contact with his arms, you can get to that position from anywhere. You know, he grabs the back of my neck, I'm fighting away, I kind of strip it and I'm there. He pushes towards me in the dialogue, I'm there. He sticks his finger in my chest from there, boom, I'm there. He throws a hook punch at my head from there, boom, I'm there. He's like, okay, there's a million and one ways to get to it. Let's do it from there. To start with, is that okay? Because it's easy. Step out to the side, gently take your weight in the direction of the shot. Underhook this arm so you get it out of the way. It's a barrier between the two of you. Pull it back to your hip, so again the hikade is doing something, as you spike it with the elbow. When you've done it a few times and you've got the technique, I want you to explain what you're doing to your partner. This is not the kind of explanation we want. I'm grabbing his arm, I'm smashing his elbow, I'm pulling his arm out of the way, I'm hitting him with another elbow. There's no mention of principles and ideas in anything I just said there. He's like, okay, why am I stepping out in that sense? Why are my hands doing what they're doing? Why are my feet coming together? Not just explaining what you're doing, but explaining why you're doing it. He's like, okay, and then the more you get those examples in your head, the more you get it set, you'll look at your kata and go, it's speaking to me now. Because you'll understand the way they're structured. Is everyone okay to give that a go? And we'll look at some other examples as well, right? That's about that, right? Oh, yeah? Yeah, great, okay. So the next technique you want to do could potentially really mess that one up. Is everyone okay with that? Okay, yeah. Don't do this. So here's just another, like, one of the things I'm really trying to discipline myself about for my own teaching is I'm never going to use the word wrong unless it's ineffective. Right? So in my dojo, students will be doing an effective technique, but not in the way I want them to do it. Or they're doing a different technique. Sometimes, so the temptation to go, that's wrong, and I don't want it's not wrong. What they're doing would still work. Right? So the phrase I keep using all the time now is, that's not wrong, but it's not what we're doing. Right? And there's a few of you, you're not doing it wrong, but you're not doing what we're doing. What you're doing is you're rolling over on the arm, which is entirely legitimate, is a technique we'll come to before we finish. Instead of smashing across, you're rolling down. Nothing wrong with that at all. You see, in other katas and everything else. But a rising elbow would not be the technique to follow up with after that. Because his head's super low. What's the point? I'm going to do there, you know what I mean? You wouldn't do that. But the kata doesn't do it either. For those that know it, the arm is vertical. It's not here. Okay, so it's a different technique. So when you do this, it's across, up. Is that okay? That's it. It's not across and down and then up. Nothing wrong with that. It's not wrong. It's not what we're doing. It's not what the kata shot. Because if it did, the elbow wouldn't be the right follow-up. Is that okay? So you're smashing straight across, straight through that arm. Is everyone okay to give that a shot? Is that okay? Just be mindful of it. Don't actually smash arms. Concept, an idea. So when you're breaking your kata down, if you want to understand it, there's lots to it, right? But if you want the kind of light version, the simple version, it's not complete, but it'll get you 90% of the way there most of the time, right? If you're looking at a kata motion, there's 3 things you need to consider, and then there's 3 things you need to check to make sure you're right or not, right? So 6 things to remember. When you're analysing the kata, these 3 things in this order, right? The angle, the stance, the arm position. So the first thing you look at is you go, what angle is this movement at? If the kata's at 45 degrees, you know you're at 45 degrees to your enemy when you do it. So you've got the alignment between the two of you, and that will help limit a lot of options, right? Angle first. And then you go, right, now I've got the angle, what's the stance doing? Is it projecting forwards? Is it dropping back? Is it going across? What's it doing? Where's it taking my weight? Is it, okay, now I know where I am, and I know where my weight's moving, what could my arms be doing from that position? Is it okay? And most of the time, that will give you a good answer. Is that okay? So angle, stance, arm position in that order. Then when you think, I think it's this, these are your 3 checks to make sure you're right. The first one we want to be is like, is the motion, and there's any order really, but the last one I would argue is the most important. Is what I'm doing, is it in line with the kata? So I'll give an example. There's about half you started pushing the arm down, right? That's not in line with the kata because the arm is here. Is that okay? So any variations beyond what you naturally do. If it's a taller guy, your arm might be higher. If it's a smaller guy, your arm might be lower. Is that okay? So they're totally accepted. But if it's like you're making a big variation away from what the kata shows, you're wrong about this. Right? The next one is it in line with the principles of kata provided to us by the old masters? Right? So is it in line with the principles that were passed on to us by the old masters? So if that's things like the angle tells you where you are relative to the enemy. If there's a hand touching you, then there's part of your opponent in it. The kata is for close range, non-consensual fighting, as opposed to long distance consensual fighting. And on and on and on. You know what I mean? So is it in line with the guidance we were given? And the final one is, would it work? Is it okay? So if it's in line with the kata, traditional kata, it's in line with the traditional principles, and it works, that's a good application. Now it could be that someone else you know has done another application which still ticks all 3 boxes. So to my mind, they'd both be right. Is that okay? Because they both adequately explain the kata in a way that's traditionally consistent. Is that okay? So angle, stance, arm position, the nature of the kata, what the old master said, does it work? Is it okay? And if you've got those 3 when you're looking, and those 3 when you do it, you're doing it right. Is that okay? And you all seem quite comfortable with the idea of stances kind of, represent the weight shift and all that kind of stuff. Is everyone okay with that one? Let's look at an extreme example of a kurumfa, for those that know that form. There's a simple thing. You've got to turn and sit all the way down here. Is that okay? So if you see that movement, you know, straight away, whatever this is, requires my weight to drop a hell of a long way down. Right? The preceding movement to it is in a front stance. Whatever it is, requires my weight to be forward. Is that okay? This is a good arm again, Kieran. That's a good arm. Perfect. Otherwise I'd have to borrow you there, Paul, because, you know, the kind of shows one side. So this is what I want you to do. Be careful with it. Your arms make contact with theirs. Right? I don't want to be close to that thing. So one of the dangers, if you're doing locks and stuff here, it smashes you with your hand, right? So whenever you do them, you need to make sure I've taken care of that problem. So the way I'm going to do it here is I'm just going to step past and I'm going to go, is that okay? There's your upper cross block. Remember when I said people don't understand it becomes a block? Is that okay? So I'm on the inside, I'm going to step straight past him, bring your arm past his arm and over your other one. Is that okay? It's the easiest way to do it, there are. Once you got into there, now this is where you're going to have to walk with me so I don't bust anything up. You know, for Kieran's comfort, I'm going to allow him to walk round as I turn. Is that okay? Well, I'm going to let go, don't worry. What I would be doing is then going, now if I did it without him turning, don't turn, it would just show what would happen. I'm not going to do it properly. But if I went to there and then went crack, you see how this 90-degree bends here? That's going to spin that shoulder joint right out of its socket. Is that alright? It's one of the reasons you need your kata right, because if you're going to do it right, like full speed and power, you have to do it on your own, otherwise you run out of friends and training partners real fast. You know what I mean? So in the kata we can do it with full force and full aggression. With a partner, I'm going to have to do it like this. I'm going to have to go, right, can you walk around over here from this side around with you? Right, now when I get to there, can you point your elbow towards the ceiling? There you go. So instead of pulling against the joint, I'm just pulling down, and I allow it to sit up. Is that okay? So whatever the technique is, must require my weight to drop. And you look at the previous one, whatever the technique is, requires my weight forwards. Why does it require my weight to be forwards? Because I need to bend his arm. So if I just go here, it's strength. If I go there, it's body weight. Right? And it's got the added tactical advantage, I'm well away from that other hand now. But if I'm sitting here going like this, it just goes crack, and then he wins. Is everyone okay with that idea? So you're going to step in, past his arm from there, allow him to walk round, allow him to point his elbow up towards the ceiling, and then just basically just get pushing his stamp towards the ground. But what I would be doing is going, so it spins it out of a position. Is that okay? And then we'll look at what if it doesn't work. Because the Kata often addresses that as well. Is that okay? It's an extreme example of a stance, but hopefully you're all familiar with it and you get the idea. Is that alright? Because before we finish, by the way, I'm going to say that I want you to pick a move from your Kata and I want you to go at it and try and analyse it with the stuff that me and Lee have given you. So there will be a test. You can decide whether you passed or not. Is that okay? But I just want to get as many examples in as we can so you say, oh yeah, I get the idea, I see what he's saying there. Is everyone okay to give that one a go? Be careful, otherwise you can only do it twice apart.